Hi, Terry.
Okay. Oh, you've got your very cool. Is that a real background or is that
Yeah,
fake?
that's a that's a virtual background.
Okay. I was gonna say it looks really real because it's the
Well,
plants and the
good,
books
good.
and
I was on another call and I had this on because I had a little kitten and she was playing in the background. Then all of a sudden she climbs up my chair and she's right here. And I'm like, you
oh
know,
my gosh.
yeah.
That's so funny. I try to keep my dog. She walks through every now and then, but right now behind my chair. So
You know what? They as soon as they know that you're doing something, whether it's phone or Zoom, they're right there. So
I know, I know.
well, what a
So
great lunch yesterday. What a great
yeah.
group. Or not yesterday, Tuesday.
Yeah, I know. I lose track of my days too. It was a good one, and I'm so disappointed that there weren't more people there to hear Linda and what she had to say.
Right.
Her parting words. But we're just, it's gonna. I've been working on a letter and phrasing it right to send out to everyone to let them know what they missed and that I understand, we have court and, people have no control over some of the things, but how important it is to make it a priority to try and get
Right.
to these meetings if you can, because we've eliminated half of them now. We used to do it monthly. Now we're only going to do it every other month. And it's just in order to maintain and grow a cohesive group that's going to be functional and effective, we've got to have participation. And
Absolutely.
it's the same few people that are showing up that, you know, that always do and that are on all the committees and no one else comes and participates. But yeah, so we had 16 people there, but we have 40 members.
Wow. Okay. So
Um,
only a third came.
yeah. And this is even without knowing what the agenda is. This is one of two meetings per year that we have at Scioto Country Club, and everyone knows this is our end of fiscal year meeting in June. This is the one where we talk about things, where we elect officers. I mean, it's just, without knowing what the agenda was, everyone should have been interested enough to come. But, I guess people get, uh, I don't know, but, what am I trying to say? Vacation scheduled and stuff like that. And sometimes I think maybe we should do our meetings in a place where we can have technology and be able to offer a Zoom option to some, but
You lose
um,
something with that. I mean, it is helpful, but you
I
know,
do, I agree. You lose something, and I'm afraid that so many people would not come because they have the Zoom option. But we used to do it always downtown. The last few meetings have been at in Worthington, and we've gotten complaints about that. Personally, I thought driving downtown and parking and paying to park and walk in and go up an elevator that you had to get permission from the guy to do it
right,
from
right.
first. I thought that was a bigger pain in the ass than going to Worthington and parking in the lot and walking
Walking
in.
right.
But people, I don't know.
Well, and
So,
it seems like most of the attorneys and advisors and members are not, their offices are not downtown. They're more
and even
suburban or work from home.
right. And even if they are, um, you know, it, most people are even working from home, like I said. And I know yesterday, this one woman, she said Worthington, she didn't like going to Worthington because she lives in Pataskala and it's easier for her to go downtown than to come to Worthington. And I thought, I can't imagine that there's more than 5 minutes difference, to be honest.
By
And
the time, like you say, you park and you go in the elevator and yeah.
yeah. So anyway, who knows? You can't please everyone.
No,
I've
you
just
can't. No,
come
you
to
can't.
learn that you can't
No,
please them all.
no.
And
Well,
I
you're doing
just
a fantastic job, and I think the group is incredible, and I look forward to being a part of it. So
Yeah, I do like it, like I said, and I'm trying to figure out how to say things to people without making people upset or angry or whatever. But I'm going to try and figure out a way to get us downtown. Our next meeting will be downtown. And so we'll see what happens if anything changes, if we get more participation downtown or not.
Well, good, good. Well, I'm sorry about the lack of recording on the last one. So we'll just kind of, the questions, and we'll kind of, go through this again. So,
Yeah, that's fine. No worries. I don't care. That's okay. I was kind of practice run through anyway. And
exactly.
I thought, oh gosh, when you said what's your final thought, I thought, oh shoot, I should have thought about this. And so now I've thought about it a little bit.
Well,
So
maybe I should send the questions to you in advance to prepare. That might be helpful. So,
yeah, I would say do that too for the attorneys and the other people you're talking to. That would be helpful.
okay.
Because we sort of feel like I felt a little on the spot, but I winged it.
Yeah,
It
you
was
did
okay.
great. You did great.
So
So, all right, let's go ahead and start. Um, Welcome, Terrie Austin. Thank you so much for joining me. And could you give me a little background on yourself and your practice, and how you got into this area?
great. Yeah, sure. So I have been a financial advisor for over 20 years now. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I started realizing that a lot of women were coming to me at needing financial advisory services, but they had just gotten divorced. And, through talking with them and understanding what their settlement was and what we had to work with, some people were going to be fine, but there were a couple times where the women got less than I thought they should have after I started asking the questions and inquiring as to, you know, well, why didn't you get part of his pension? And then what some of the answers were. And I thought, I think women in general, and I don't only work with women. I work predominantly with women because those seem to be the ones that actually need the assistance understanding the financials. But they seem to want to give up more than they should or not fight for what they're entitled to in order to keep the peace.
And
And
oftentimes they're pleasers and peacekeepers, and just let's get through this.
yeah. And, and I know even in my situation, I thought, I lived in a small community when I got divorced and I did the same thing, but I wasn't doing what I do now. But I thought, I don't want my husband telling the kids that I'm taking him to the cleaners. I don't want my husband telling all of our friends that I'm dragging this out, trying to take all his money.
Right.
And so you just think, you know what? I'll figure it out. Let's just get it over with. Give them this, give them that. Let's do this to get it over with. But I'm here to tell you, and I've seen it happen to other women. It's a lot harder than you think on your feet. So I just decided I wanted to get in front of this process. I wanted to try and talk to the non-CFO spouse, I call it,
Yes.
before divorce decisions, before settlements are made, voice on the shoulder that says, wait a minute, let's make sure you're getting what you're entitled to. And yes, there is a price for peace, and sometimes it's worth settling for less than what you deserve, but you need to know what that means for your future.
Well, and
And
yeah, exactly. Don't have future regrets. And where are you going to be in 15 years? And is,
right.
this sufficient? So,
Right, and you've got to be concerned about your earning capacity and the ability to make money. And sometimes a settlement number sounds like a big number, but when you start to do cash flow modeling throughout the rest of your life, it turns out that it's not that big of a number and it might
right.
not be enough.
Well, good. Obviously, each divorce is unique and everyone goes on their own journey through the process. If you could change anything or give somebody, some advice in the beginning, what would it be? I think you kind of hit on that already, but
Well, I think one of the things that people just their first thought is, I'm going to get divorced. I need to find an attorney. And the attorneys have a role and their job is very important, but I don't necessarily think that that should be the first step. you have a lot of ducks to get in a row before you see an attorney, and your time with an attorney will be much more productive if you have your finances in order and you understand the things that they're going to ask for. Because I can tell you right now, if the first meeting about your divorce is with an attorney and they start asking you all these questions, what do you want? What do you need? What do you have? Almost your answer to almost all those is going to be, I don't
Well,
know.
you're a deer in headlights. And like you say,
Yeah.
I like your comment of the non-CFO partner,
Else.
because
Mhm.
that is true. Somebody normally handles most of the finances, and you don't know everything. So you're exactly right.
So that would be my advice to people, is to start with a financial professional who has the CDFA designation, who practices actively in divorce cases and understands what you're going to need when you do see an attorney. And that person, very often, and I know would have this ability too, would be able to point you in the direction of the right attorney. Because there's more than one way to get divorced. You can go the traditional route, which is costly and drags out a very long time and it's adversarial. But there's collaborative divorce, which we are a part of. And, that takes some understanding. And then there's just mediation, depending on if it's a very, very, very simple case. We might get away with mediation. So, and there are ways to do all this without going to court, but you have to also choose the right attorney who's settlement minded, collaborative minded, and willing to do this without going to court.
And
So,
I
um,
go ahead.
yeah.
I can't
No, I was just
imagine.
going to say that I think that it's important to talk to a professional who's not an attorney, who can make the recommendations for
I
you
was
to
I
the
was
right.
just going to say, I can't imagine. They say 49% of people don't use attorneys. I hope the majority of those are using a coach or a mediator, because I can't imagine going into this process completely by yourself. I mean, that it's
No,
such a huge
it
undertaking.
it takes a village.
It
I
does.
mean,
It does.
people talk about, raising kids takes a village, and getting divorced takes a village too. I say, you need to rally your team,
Your
because
team. Mhm.
you need a financial expert who understands divorce. You need a mortgage loan professional who is going to be able to help you structure things properly and talk to you about all the things that you can talk to somebody about. You need a real estate expert. You need a new estate planning attorney, because you are going to have all new documents.
Absolutely.
And I have, it's so funny because I have a model client right now. And she felt so insecure because she was the non-CFO spouse. Even though she works, she's a professional with a college degree. She didn't handle any of that, but she was smart enough to say, I just need people to help me make decisions. And she did all the right things. She talks to me.
Right.
She just got me involved with her realtor, who's helping her look for a house. And the realtor said on our Zoom a few days ago, she said, I've been selling houses for a really long time, and this is the first time I've ever been on a Zoom or had a financial advisor involved in the conversation. And she said, I think this is great. Because I could answer questions for my client that she
Right.
didn't know the answer to.
Hmm.
And I also was able to explain to her in layman's terms some of the things that the realtor was talking about that she wasn't really used to having to explain in detail.
Right. Right.
So yeah, having a team of experts. And people might think, oh, that sounds really expensive. Well, I can tell you 99% of the time, if you talk to in every field and let them help you before you get to the point of the attorney, you will probably, and you keep this process amicable and collaborative and cooperative and non-adversarial, you're going to spend less money
Way
having
less.
4 or 5 people helping you than you are the old traditional, you hire an attorney, I hire one, and we duke it out in court.
Right. Right. And it's probably going to go a lot quicker too.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
hopefully you'll have
100%.
a method of communication after the divorce is finalized. I mean, especially if there are children involved or grandchildren around, you're still going to be communicating one way or another. So
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point. I've also brought in um, family coaches to help with shared parenting plans. So I've helped people through divorce that we didn't even get the attorney involved until the very end when we needed the documents drawn up and everything's put through the courts.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Because you do this all the time and you understand all the facets.
Yes, absolutely. And I love it. I love this work. It makes me feel it's very
It is.
rewarding to know that I've helped someone through the process and saved them thousands of dollars, and months and months have been shaved off the process.
Right, right. It is, it's an excellent tool to share our knowledge, to help others, to pay it forward, and to try and minimize that anguish. So absolutely. I think we talked about this before, but do you have one memorable case that you worked on and how it impacted you?
Well, I would say it's probably the one I mentioned earlier. She's just been from the very beginning. She needed help understanding. And like I said, she took my advice. She was very interested in the cash flow modeling for the future and understanding what it meant to her. And she relies on me to sort of be her personal CFO. You know, she wanted to buy a car and I said, "Oh no, we can't buy a car before you get your new house,"
Right,
because she's renting, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, what would I have done if I didn't talk to you?"
right, right,
And I said, "I know, you could have really blown it for yourself because you do not need a car payment to be considered into your debt
right,
ratio right
right.
now." And, you know, so it's the clients who really appreciate and value the advice that they're getting from me and understand that how important it is. And the reality is you just don't know what you don't know until,
So
you know.
besides word of mouth, how do you promote yourself and that you're so different than the traditional financial advisor? And, how do you have people find you?
Well, I have two separate distinct companies. I have my wealth management company that I started a long time ago. Um, and I don't really even market that. I market myself as a divorce financial consultant or expert through Modern Divorce Solutions, my second company. And so I do a little bit of social media posting and advertising, but I'm also a founding member of Amicable Divorce Network, so I'm on that website. So I think when people are just looking online for divorce financial consultant, I get found on different websites. I'm a member of our local collaborative divorce group, and when I am networking and out and about, I just introduce myself as a divorce financial consultant, and that just starts the question right
Right,
there.
right, right. And if somebody wanted to find you, because these interviews are going to be, available online on social media, how would someone find you, Terrie?
Well, you can Google me, but you can also find me at www.moderndivorcesolutions.com. My phone number is on that site. There's a link to schedule a meeting with me, automatically put yourself on my calendar. And like I said, it's I'm pretty easy to find, I think.
Perfect, perfect. Well, I really appreciate your time and I look forward to seeing you again soon. And let me
Thank
know if
you.
there's anything you need help with
Oh,
I guess winwin.org. So
yeah. Thanks so
thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Bye.